So my first finished book for February is Samantha Sotto Yambao's Watermoon. Now I'm going to have to be really careful with the premise of this book because I finally realised why every video I make about this book is having trouble. And that is because I am using a word that could be misconstrued as another word if you are AI. So here we go. Let's try this. This book is set both in an alternative Japan and real Japan. So the character Hannah, she runs the kind of shop where you take items for money and then those items are taken by the shopkeeper and put on shelves and other people can come in and spend money to buy them. You got that? Okay, you can see why I've been having trouble with this video with that. So this is her first day. And on her first day, she finds her father gone. The door to this shop that leads into the real Japan is open. And the thing is, if Hannah goes through that door, and indeed if her father has, she would just fade away and she would be gone. That's what happens. So she's just trying to work out what to do when in comes Keishin. Now, the thing about this shop that I've been talking about is that to people from the real Japan, the outside looks like a regular ramen restaurant, but it's only people who need the real shop in the alternative Japan that find it for what it really is inside. So Keishin comes and he's expecting ramen and he walks into Hannah's shop instead. Now the shop, instead of trading items, they trade choices. So a person, an unsuspecting person, brings in a choice they regret not taking in exchange for a box of tea. And also what happens is that they leave just completely forgetting the road not taken. So everyone so far has been that sort of client, but Keishin comes in and he doesn't seem to have a choice, or at least he's not talking about that. Keishin is a scientist. He sees Hannah's hurt herself. He bandages her up. He tells her he's a doctor when obviously he means he's a scientist doctor. And then Hannah says, right, I've got to look for my father. Keishin says, I'll come with you. Hannah's basically like, well, you're not going to believe what we're going to be doing. We're going to be jumping into a puddle and it's going to go to another place. And Keishin's like, yeah, I don't believe you, but I want to see you fail. I'm going to leave the premise there because I think I've already said too much about it. I'm going on. So this book is heavily steeped in fantasy, more so than any of Sam's other books. I will say that you do have to have your wits about you sometimes because there is a lot of information, not info dumped, but just included in general to get through. There is a lot here about choices and regrets, and also what happens if you don't have choices and you live just through fate, and why that would be a bad idea, why choices are a better idea. There's also a bit about grief. There's somewhat about families because both characters are connected by the fact that they've lost their mothers, and even more so in that they could both potentially find their mothers. There is a lot of emotion in this book. There was a point where I thought I was going to burst into tears, and I did indeed get very, very emotional. This book is kind of all about dreams, I would say. A lot of the content is very dreamy. I wonder if there was an influence with Studio Ghibli. There's kind of that thing going on. I think this book had the potential for a few different endings, and although the ending that Sam went with isn't the one that I was expecting, I was satisfied with it.